Alright, so here's what I'm working on in PC Building Simulator. I'm currently trying to just maximize my 3DMark score. I'm in the free build mode, so I can use any parts I want. Uh, the price doesn't matter. So my PC is getting up to like the 10,000 range. I've done some research to make sure these are all the perfect parts, and as far as I know, these are like only thing I can improve is making this part better. Um, but the only flaw I think is just the way I have the water cooling set up, so I might need to change the orientation of some of the pipes or something. The best I've gotten on 3D Mark so far is around 23,000, and I believe 27 is possible, but it requires some pretty steep overclocks that I don't know how to reach, so I'm gonna have to do a lot of experimenting. I learned that if you raise the base clock a lot, you can actually get the RAM past its max speed on the motherboard. So you can get this to around 6,000 megahertz, and then you can push the voltage up. But then you have to lower your CPU ratio a lot to make up for because the base clock adjusts the CPU and RAM, so you have to lower the ratio to make up for it. But my CPU has not been able to get for too far. It's been overheating. I don't know why, because I'm pretty sure my water cooling is doing well overall. So I'm just gonna try to get the RAM to be overclocked as much as I can for now. So we'll see if this works. Let's take a look at the temperatures. Okay, 58. That'll probably throttle. That's the problem here. But I can lower this one more. Let's look at that. Probably like 55 or so. 55. This might work, but I have yet to actually overclock the RAM this much. I've only been able to get it to 44,000 or 100 because of the motherboard limit. So GPU temps are looking good. Apparently you can get this extremely high as well. I've seen people get this to 2100, like 20,000. I don't think this will be able to work, but let's see. How did I lose 3D Mark? Let's take a look. 3D Mark. Let's try to run this. Okay, so that looks like it's a RAM issue because I've never seen that before. And my FPS is really high. I probably need to just up the voltage. And if I see a different error message, I'll assume it's just because of um, overheating. In my experience, like RAM overclocking isn't really a problem with temperature. No RAM. Okay. So I'm not sure what the problem would be there. Clearly the RAM's broken now, so I'll have to fix it real quick. But I'm not sure because I'm pretty sure that's possible. For now, I'll just try to get as high as I can. I'll just start at 5,000 megahertz and work up from there. G skill. So this is the best RAM to use, I believe, is should be the 4800 RGB because it's the highest speed. Where is it? 4800. There it is. So just you can just use four of these. Why not? While I'm at it, I'm actually gonna just make this look a little better. I think my piping is kind of unoptimal. Actually, I should use rigid piping. So I'll change this to from flexible to rigid. I've been using clear so that I can see the liquid clearly to make sure when it's working. This can be kind of annoying. Alright, that should be good. I'll actually lower this a little bit. And now this pipe. So let's go move this like that. Actually, I'll have. There we go. That should be good. I don't know if that'll really cause a difference, but why not? I get the liquid going through, and then we'll try to start it up again. This time I'll be more careful with the RAM. Takes a bit to get the water going through. I'm not sure I'm doing this correctly over here, but so far my GPU temperatures have been really good, so it looks like it's probably fine. All right, let's go back. All right, so let's go with just some. Let's go with. I don't want to push the voltage too much. It looks like it's probably why I broke, but I still think I can get this to 1.8 and still have it work. So I think that's what it's at last time without it breaking. So let's just try that. I at least want to get to 25,000 on 3DMark. That'll be really good for now. Okay, this has a good chance of working if I don't get CPU throttling, or if my GPU doesn't crash. It might crash. That's okay. I can just lower some stuff. 52 is really, really good here, though. It definitely can get higher with some better cooling and voltages and stuff. Probably even up to 60, if I had to guess. Okay. Time to reset the display driver and recover from timeout failed. I've never seen that issue, but it's clearly due to the GPU based on the display driver. Recover from timeout failed. It's probably just that I overclocked it too much. The thing that sucks is you can't actually push the voltage past 20, from what I see at least, which is unfortunate because in reality you can. There is some software you can use to push it, but I guess within this game they don't allow it. Because I have a really powerful power supply, 1600 watts. That can take a lot more than just 20 extra volts. Um, and this GPU, not only is it an amazing GPU, but it's water cooled, so it can handle a lot. But only 20% voltage isn't enough to push the card to its max, it seems like. But let's try this. This should be a lot more stable. Should at least be a high score fairly easily. As long as it's 170, this should be a high score. Probably 24,000. Okay. I'll let it finish out if it can, but I'm gonna do a little bit more tweaking to push it a little bit further before I'm done. In the meantime, I stopped doing the career mode because it's really repetitive. Um, you can learn a lot more if you just are messing around on your own, trying things, I feel like, and I don't want to be limited by having to manage other things that just is time consuming. But I might go back to it, try to get a higher level and stuff. Here's some of my other builds that I attempted. Um, so the game says that this is the best GPU, but the thing is you can't water cool this GPU, so you can't overclock it as much. And so in theory, the GPU I'm using here, just the water coolable version, even though it technically has lower clock speeds out of the box, because it can be water cooled, it has a lot more room for improvement. Um, I don't know why I used this RAM, because it's just slower. But I didn't know you could get a higher power supply either until I scrolled down some more. This build kind of just fell apart because I felt like the case was too small. I couldn't fit a radiator in properly, and um, what happened with this one? Same problem. I couldn't fit in a radiator and have both of these GPUs in, so I just decided to restart. Also used bad RAM, not the best power supply, but all right. So 24,000 here. It's about what I expected, but I can definitely push it further. Um, I would like to try to push the CPU some more. I'm not sure why those temperatures are so bad. Actually, um, I've heard that it's pointless to water cool the CPU. Let me think. I could just. Oh, the problem that I have with it actually is that if I here, I'll show the problem here. So if I take off these two pipes, get the CPU block off, the problem is that there isn't an extra port, I think, but this motherboard might actually have a port because I was using a different motherboard before. But this one might be able to. The best air cooler is this one, but it's pretty big, and this gets in the way. I'm not sure how my. Okay, will this fit? No. See, this is the problem. You have to unplug this cord if you want to be able to use the air cooler. But then, of course, you can't use this to water cool the GPU. So I don't really know how, like what the best solution is for this. It seems like it's best to just water cool the CPU because the GPU is the most important part for like the high scores. So I'll just put this back on. But I do wonder what I need to do to get better temperatures. Alright, now let's get the coolant back in. I'll try to get the CPU a little bit further. I'm kind of scared to push the voltages because the temperatures are seeming to be pretty high. Okay, so let's see here. I don't think I can push the voltage any higher without having throttling problems. So let's just try one more push up on the ratio. The RAM can definitely get higher. Let's try like 5600. I'm pretty sure I can get higher. So it's probably getting pretty close to its limit now. While I'm at it, I'll even just push the GPU up. I'll try to break 2100 on this at 1975, but I'll be amazed if this works out. I feel like this should probably not work. Okay, so that was the CPU. So it seems like my limit. I can try to raise the voltage one more click, and if it doesn't work, then I have no choice but to just stick to 4700 on the ratio. So let's try this out. It'll probably start throttling. It'll work for about 10 seconds, and then in a few seconds it should start throttling. And if not, then we're good. Okay, it's looking good. So CPU is either close to its limit or at the limit. The RAM seems good because it hasn't crashed yet. And I think the RAM crashed earlier than this. We'll see about the GPU though, because I pushed the GPU quite a bit. 173. It's not crashing yet. Staying stable. Still no throttling. But I don't know how the RAM's doing. This should make it through the test. But I don't know if it'll reach 25,000. So I guess we'll see. Still 160 in this area. Let's see. I guess if I want to make this computer even better, I can put in some more storage. It definitely has a lot of slots left. A lot of areas. Oh, it's really close. Alright. Uh, I just want to get to 2500. So I really could just push this up a little bit higher if I wanted. Um, this can probably reach 20,000. And then maybe I can get this to 20, like there? And I also want to experiment with the CPU a bit more. It's not throttling. I can maybe hit the voltage to 1.5, just maybe. And maybe I can hit one more there. Maybe I can get here. At this point, I'm pretty much asking for a miracle for this computer to work, but if it works, that'd be amazing. Okay, that's a RAM problem. So I pushed the RAM a bit too hard. So let's click it down one. Actually, let's just raise it. Raise the voltage a bit more. And if it breaks, then I can't go to 1.85. So as long as the RAM doesn't break, then I know 1.85. Yeah, okay. So I'll stick to 1.85 on the voltage and just lower it one more. I'll keep trying this until it works. Slowly lowering the RAM speed. Okay, maybe that is a RAM problem. I'm not sure. That might be broken RAM, but let's see. Okay, no. But now we're getting throttling, which means we'd have to raise the CPU voltage. But if we do that, or we'd have to lower the voltage. But if we do that, then we'll have problems with the CPU not being able to be stable, and we'll get crashes again. So the only option is just to lower the voltage and lower the CPU speed, I believe. Um, so it seems like I'm pretty much at my limit for this build unless I want to optimize the water cooling more. I'm not quite sure what the problem is with it, but through just the software side of things, I don't think I can get the CPU or RAM to be any better. The GPU still has room for improvement. So let's see. I had the GPU at the highest I've really had it. CPU and RAM both are at their limits for this PC, it seems like. 177. Okay, so that's I believe that's just a overclock problem, very simple problem. Okay, I did not mean to do that. So the only thing that I'm curious about is if there's a difference between the error when it's on the core clock and on the memory clock. So I think what I might do is just experiment with that. Just make sure this is. Let's just try like a really obvious far overclock here, see if it's a different error. Only problem is the first part of this test is a CPU test, so we have to sit here for like 20 seconds before we can see how the GPU is going to perform. Very curious, because it's really hard to tell which one to overclock more. I don't know which one's better. It's really hard to find a good balance. But if I know which one I'm getting in the errors from, then I can just raise them one at a time, I believe. Really? Okay. So this isn't crashing yet. That's amazing. Okay. So, okay. Well then what if I do this? What happens here? Let's see. Okay, so it's not crashing. So it seems like it's just a balance. But the memory clock benefited a lot more. So I think what would like theoretically make sense is to max out the memory clock and then adjust the core clock accordingly, like this or something. I'm not sure This logic is probably pretty flawed, but let's see how this works out. Also, you can actually see some compression issues on the video feed. You can tell they're just playing back a video pretty clearly because you can see like the pixels lose resolution. It's kind of weird. Just an interesting thing, but it's just a video game, so wow, 180, but it crashed. If I could just put a bit more voltage on, that'd be great. I'm sure the temperatures are not a problem. Maybe there's a new version of the game where you can get the voltage further. Um, so let me think. Um, I guess I'll just lower this a bit and raise this a little bit. Try to get a better balance. I wish I could skip the CPU test because it's kind of, I already know I'm at my limit with it. Okay, I'm getting throttling. Uh, interesting. I'm hoping just restarting the PC will help. I think that's just because I did so many tests in a row. The CPU is starting to have temperature problems. Yeah, it looks good now. So you can tell it's like right at its limit if it's throttling like just only temporarily. But my goal is only just to get a high score, so that's not really a big deal. I really hope this works. Ah, dang. Okay. So that's a different error. Um, okay. That's really hard to understand for some reason. I believe this game has a wiki that you could use to probably troubleshoot this, but for now I want to be a bit more authentic and just figure it out on my own. So let's see. Um, what is the best thing to do here? I'll go ahead and just try to put this a bit more balanced. Let's go with something like this. Well, the thing is, I think ideally I should do this. Like, this would be ideal. Because the memory clock benefits the most, like, objectively. I don't know how this game handles this kind of thing. I don't know how, like, intricate the physics of it are. So it's kind of hard to tell. It's 78. Hmm. So it seems like that happens whenever there's a too big of a gap between the two. So it needs a bit more balance. So I'll just lower the memory clock a little bit. So let's lower it to this and then see if that works. I want to just get it to a point where it won't crash and then I'll tweak it a bit more. Okay, we're getting throttling. Just restart real quick. Alright. Okay, this probably won't crash if I had to guess. But I can't remember what I got last time on the FPS here. I'd love to get to 180, but I don't know if that'll happen. because my CPU and RAM are at their limits. 160. I'm pretty sure this won't be a new high score. Uh, I'm gonna just go with 2100 to be as a base here. Let's see if 1950 is possible. I'd love to get to 180 FPS in that first part. I'd be really happy with that. I know I can get to 25,000 without doing that, but I've seen it happen. Even though it crashed, I feel like it should be possible. But I don't know if the ah. See, I read a post that said they got the GPU pretty close to like the max on like sliders, like 2160 and like 2130 or something crazy. And I'm not even like close to that. But I don't see. I'm using the same GPUs they did, the same motherboard, same parts, same everything. Only thing that could possibly be different is that I'm doing the pipes differently. But I haven't seen how they do it. I don't know if this pipe. I don't know like if this pipe is optimal. So I'm not really. I don't know. I may do some more research and try to see. Also, this should be a pretty good score. This should easily be my best. There you go. That's 25,000. Um, let's see. I could put more case fans in somehow, maybe. And if I do that, maybe I can get some more stability. 104. I think you just want the max possible airflow. Now, I don't feel like in the real world this would make a lot of sense, but maybe the game's logic just makes this work for some reason. Let's try this. I'm pretty sure I can't fit any more fans than like if I went hit there, seems pointless, but let's put these cables in. Can I fit another one in? Go with the red. I guess I could remove no. Yeah, okay. Looks like it's at its limit. Um, yeah, I can't see what else I can do. The CP and RAM are at their limits, it seems like. Uh, let's try this to 75 or even 80. 55. Let's see. Almost 180. No crashes. This might be really good. This should be like mid 25,000. If this doesn't crash, I'll finish it here and I'll work on it another time. Let's see what we get. There we go. 25.3 thousand. I will take that. That'll be the end of the video for now. I hope to push this to 27,000 eventually, but I need to do some research and figure out what to do for that to work first. So far, it seems like it's nearly at its limit, so I'm happy with it. That is all.